Holden getting underneath. Maltz, great catch by Bernhardt. Score! Hello, highlight reel.
Play like a champion today. Notre Dame with its first title in men's lacrosse.
Welcome back, college lacrosse lovers. Another week of the Medicine Game. We cover every game every week in addition to the first ever College Lacrosse Game Day 2024 PLL Mock Draft 1.0. We are joined by Princeton Tigers and a member of the 25 men's final nominees for the Tewaaraton Award, Coulter Mackesy, after a big win over Pennsylvania and before a season-defining contest at Yale. It's one of our Lax.com games of the week. My name is Dan.
I'm Brett.
I'm Hayden.
I'm Mike.
Cheers.
Friday, April 19th, the Scarlet Knights put up a gnarly fight, but Penn State comes out on top, 15-10 over Rutgers.
Loyola Greyhounds have made some great bounds this spring. 5th Patriot League win in a row. They beat Navy 12-10.
The Bulldog is the better breed in this dogfight. Brandow had himself a day against Pacino with 8 points. Yale 17, Albany 10.
The brave young men of our nation scored 19 against the Bucknell Bison, who sucked this year. Army 19, Bucknell 11.
Lemoyne hit the groin. Yet again, it was Lafayette this week, 14-9 win over the Leopards.
Saturday, April 20th, East Coast Pios of Sacred Heart end their regular season with 9 straight wins, undefeated in the MAC. Pazienza had the big stop to seal the win over Canisius, 13-12.
God Save the Queen is what would have been chanted if Queens canned the game-winning goal in triple overtime. Mercer takes the win 10-9.
The Little Leprechauns down at attack named Kavanaugh fill the pot of gold and keep the luck of the Irish flowing in South Bend. Notre Dame 14, North Carolina 6.
Detroit, the Motor City upsets Bellarmine. Something fueled these guys this week, 18-10 Titans.
Bryant bests Binghamton by beating them big time. The Bulldogs bend over the Bearcats 17-11. Aiden Goals had 6 of them.
BU, more like BO. That loss must have stunk. The Terriers couldn't outlast the Mountain Hawks, who pull off the comeback win in OT in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, 13-12.
The Utah Mormons repent their sins and prey on the Vikings' downfall as they roll past Cleveland State 16-7.
Another battle of the brains ends in pain for the Harvard Crimson. Cornell comes out on top, 15-8.
Stathakis was fantastic against Providence. He was 79% as Denver beat Providence 7-4.
It's never fun losing in conference games, especially by 14. Georgetown 20, St. John 6.
The Panthers of High Point roll past the Statesmen of Hobart 11-10.
I guess that's why they call them foxholes. Marist got up in VMI's business this week, beating the Keydets 14-10.
Towson is 10-3. They beat the piss out of Monmouth 17-2. They meet with CAA royalty this week to decide who will wear the 2024 regular season crown.
The America East has a vendetta against the NJT Highlanders. A team once considered America's team is now 0-6 in the America East after being 7-0 out of conference. They lose to UMBC 13-6.
The Spiders find a crack in the foundation of Garber Field and bite the Gorillas in the ass. Richmond 14, UMass 12.
Jesus, Mary, and St. Joseph all over St. Bonaventure this weekend, 24-3.
This was peak ace on lacrosse, down 9-6 with just over 5 left. Jacksonville scores 3 straight to tie it. Then Anthony Caputo steps in from 14 and wins it for the Fish against Air Force 10-9 in overtime.
The Big Green took another big L in Ivy League play. They are the ugly, red-headed stepchild of the Ivy League, and Brown got their turn to bully them. Brown 14, Dartmouth 11.
The Blue Hens protect the nest and deliver 13 eggs as they fly past the extinct Dragons. Delaware 13, Drexel 6.
Fairfield gets a home win and claims the 3 spot in the CAA standings after hosting Stony Brook, 11-10 Stags.
Aye, ye Hofstra Flying Dutchmen put their helmets and cleats in Davy Jones' locker after a 21-5 win over ye Hampton Pirates.
Marquette's season this year is like drafting Ryan Leaf first round in the NFL draft, a huge bust. They dropped their 4th loss in a row in Big East play. Villanova 12, Marquette 6.
Quinnipiac lacks an attack and loses an OT to the Sharks. The Long Island University 10, Quinnipiac 9 in overtime.
Gary, Lars, Paul. The Nail Guns were out to play for Syracuse, Virginia, and the Orange came out on top in the Dome, 18-17 Syracuse.
Linden wouldn't ruin Bobby Moe's ace-on tourney chances. They're good guys. 10-9 Colonials.
The purple punching bag returns, this time losing by 10. Somebody call Laura Croft because the Crusaders' hidden treasure just got raided. Colgate 18, Holy Cross 8.
There were 10,000 plus at Homewood on Saturday. The Blue Jays defeat John Tillman and his Terrapins by 2. The late Buddy Beardmore is roll dodging in his grave.
The Manhattan Jaspers end Wagner's regular season with the 10-5 shellacking at home.
Siena doubles up the Mount 14-7. The Saints win this week, and they're invited to the MAC dance. If they want to get lucky, they need to wear something tight.
Princeton 15, Penn 10. I'm obviously way more intelligent than everyone else on this podcast because I'm the only one who picked the Tigers to beat Penn. They are one win closer to an Ivy League playoff berth.
The Catamounts double up the Riverhawks in the beautiful city of Lowell on their senior day. Tough 2 years, day for the Riverhawks. Vermont 18, UMass Lowell 9.
The Big Ten does it again. A rivalry game between the Buckeyes and the Maize and Blue lived up to the hype. 5 unanswered goals by Ohio State in the fourth. They still fall short. Michigan 13, Ohio State 12.
Sunday, April 21st. All aboard the Dane train. Albany 14, Merrimack 8. Going into the last game of the regular season, Albany is the only American East team locked in for the tourney.
Tuesday, April 23rd, Bryant plays Brown. This showdown was our studio game we got to feast our eyes on. Bryant handles Brown 10-7.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are sitting in the studio here on Tuesday night. We just finished watching Bryant. Yep. Great Rhode Island.
You should restart.
Bryant. All right.
Bryant Brown.
The last game in the Rhode Island Cup. In the Ocean State Cup.
Was that the championship? Is
State Cup.
that how that works? No.
What?
Is that how that works?
Hey, guys. Week 12 of College Lacrosse Game Day. We're hanging out here in the studio. We just finished watching the Bryant-Brown game, the last game of the, what's it called? The
Ocean State Cup.
The Ocean State Cup. And Bryant came on top 10-7. Doesn't really mean anything for either team. But a good lacrosse game, nevertheless, it always is between these two teams. Always late in the year, too, which is always interesting. Want to talk a little bit about this past weekend. Some of the bigger stories were, just the theatrics in Saturday's game, specifically Syracuse, Virginia. The atmosphere, what Jay Alter said about the game afterwards, just awesome lacrosse atmosphere. There's not a whole lot we can say about this game. I think it did all the talking it needed to, but any takeaways you guys have?
Dan just flipped his computer cover
Perfectly.
Straight up into the screen.
Perfectly.
One of my biggest takeaways.
It's a hard reset.
There we go. Yeah.
Bing.
No, it was a sick atmosphere. I think the camera angle, we only saw the far sideline, but obviously the sideline where the camera is where everybody sits, and the place was packed. We've watched Syracuse play in the Dome multiple times this year, but this was definitely the most electric atmosphere there was. A rivalry game, just talent on both ends, two teams that are hot right now, two teams that are playing for a chance to be playing in May. Big time ACC matchup. This game had everything.
Everything. And it was huge for Cuse too, because if you think early in the year, those tight games, those big ones, Army and Maryland, they lost both those games. This one they win in the final seconds in dramatic fashion. Billy Dwan with the over the bat. I don't even know how you describe that. It was like not even a BTB.
It was like an
over the shoulder shot. It was like a shovel shot.
Yep.
Yeah. Wild for a close defenseman.
He was dialed
Right.
in. He was dialed in.
Yeah, to find himself in that position.
And then Jake Stevens was phenomenal in that game.
Yeah. Another guy for Syracuse is Owen Hiltz, who he had 8 points. He was just named the D1 Player of the Week. He had 12 shots, which led all Syracuse players. He really stepped up, and he's a guy who came to Syracuse his freshman year and immediately was a sensation. And it felt like these last couple of years he's kind of taken a not a step back, but his role has decreased a little bit with the names that they've brought in. And it was good to see him kind of show out and play the way that he did the last couple of years. And he's an unbelievable player. I think another story from this game, and maybe the reason for Owen Hilt's production, was Spallina was held to 0 points, I believe. I think
for the first time we're correct. It was 0 points.
Yep, the first time in his career. And now that we're correct about it, he didn't have any points, which Syracuse still scored 18 goals,
which is nuts,
and beat Virginia, and obviously he might be disappointed in the way he played, but it's if Syracuse can win that game and still score 18 goals, like it's okay for Joey Spallina to have an off day
as long as they're winning. And also as long as they're winning.
Yeah.
And then on the other side of the ball, Schellenberger looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Looked unstoppable. He started most of the runs for UVA when they were behind, and then that got him up front. So two excellent sides. Honestly, it was just a great game.
What was interesting about this game was the Noons kind of stat going into it of his cold streak and then not making a save until what was the streak? There was like a certain number of quarters or something.
No, I think it was
like
he let up
14
straight goals without making a save. I don't recall if he got pulled in the game prior or if he
didn't
finished.
play. I don't think he played much in the game prior.
Yeah, maybe not. They might have given him some rest, but once he made that first save, he looked great, like back to his normal form. I think it's tough. I mean, he's seeing great shots. Like it's hard for him to make a save, and 14 goals in a row is a lot, but
he also he let up 18, but he had 15 saves.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and he got his first save in the second quarter, I think.
Yeah, so think about what that score could have been.
I mean, it was compare this game to the Hopkins-Maryland game.
Yeah.
I think two questions. What was a better lacrosse game? And if you had to pick two teams to play for the championship, what are the two better teams?
What are you talking about?
So there's the question of what would you rather watch?
Okay, let's start there.
What would you rather watch?
Me and Hayden are two different sides of the ball as far as our careers. So I don't know what your answer is going to be, but mine.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I'd rather watch the high scoring in the Dome, Syracuse, Virginia.
There you go. And I'd rather watch Hopkins, Maryland, low scoring in front of 10,000 people, just unreal defensive plays, and every little ground ball is just absurdly important.
My reasoning and why I agree with Mike in the Maryland Hopkins game, and it's
both are fun.
Yeah, it's almost unfair to say I love the idea of the possessions being so heavy, like just how much each possession means. It almost feels like a college basketball game and in the NCAA tournament or like in a conference tournament where it's every possession. It's it just Maryland gets the ball. It's like, what are they going to do now? They've tried everything else. What are they going to do now? And then Erlin makes a play. Scott Smith makes a play. And then the other side, Ajax is just Ajax every possession. And it's, I don't know. To me, that's more exciting where it's more of a chess match to see what are they going to do on this possession and just see how tight-knit the defenses are.
You feel the weight of those possessions more.
You do.
Instead of okay, there could be three, there's 50 seconds left. There could be three more goals. We already scored 35 goals in this game.
Yep. Anything can happen.
I agree.
Billy Dwan can freaking...
Right. What happened?
Yeah.
Both
that's
are fun.
A good take. That's a good take. I definitely see your side.
We'll give you a rebuttal. Counter argument.
Yeah, I think at some point in the Maryland Hopkins game, as an offensive-minded analyst, you start thinking, oh, are these teams just playing sloppy? Are they just playing bad lacrosse? Because sometimes you don't recognize how good the defenses are and how well game plan they are and how ready they are to see and stop everything that the other team is doing. And sometimes you watch it and it's like, oh well, they're throwing the ball away. But looking at it from your lens, it's no, they're making great defensive plays. They're making the right decisions. They're making it extremely difficult for these offenses to score. So it can go either way. I think it's just whatever lens you're looking at it through tends to be more exciting for you.
I enjoy both of them, and I hope we see a mix of them on Memorial Day weekend. We're going to jump into All Guts, No Glory because we have a lot to cover, including a mock draft, an interview with Coulter Mackesy. So, Brett, please give it to us. All Guts, No Glory.
A highly sought after Ivy League matchup to start one of our Lax.com games of the week. Penn traveled to Princeton. This game was scoreless in the first 10 minutes. Freshman Colin Burns started the party in Jersey. Princeton controlled the middle two quarters of this game. They led 12-9 into the fourth. Michael Gianfrancaro, better known as Mikey G, had 15 saves and scored a coast-to-coast backhanded goal. This clutch performance, we thought, would put Princeton in a place to clinch that Ivy League tournament spot, but I guess there could be some complications. Hayden?
There are some complications. Brown still technically has a 21% chance of being that fourth spot in the Ivy League. If they beat Harvard on Sunday and Princeton loses to Yale on Senior Day on Sunday, which is likely, then Brown will get that 4th spot in the Ivy League tournament.
Juicy. Thank you, Hayden. Another great story here. We have Detroit Mercy, 2-9 to start going into last week. They had slim hopes of the ASUN tournament, but out of nowhere, they beat Bellarmine handedly 18-10. For all of you ASUN enthusiasts out there, the Titans do have a chance. They play Cleveland State next. And finally, we have our marquee event. Number 20, Boston University. Men's lacrosse team fell to Lafayette 2 weeks ago, and now they lose to Lehigh this past weekend in overtime. Lehigh trailed the Bulldogs 9-4 into the third quarter. Head coach Will Scudder lit a fire under their asses. They came out strong and started making some plays. They outscored BU 9-3 before the last 3 minutes of the game. Then it started with Quinn Armstrong. He dodged to his left over the top. Kobe faded away and scores to bring them within 1 goal. Lehigh faceoff man Sean Dow won the next draw. They call a timeout. The Hawks come out and they miss the cage out of the timeout, and BU calls a rebuttal so they can get set in their defense. Cole Scott comes out with the ball behind, treads up the hash, scores, and they square it up at 12 with 21.3 seconds to go. The crowd goes crazy. And finally, the last eruption was at the hand of Dakota Ehrman, who won the game for the Mountain Hawks in overtime from 12 yards. Case closed, gritty performance. Again, we entered the weekend with 6 teams all tied with the same record in first place in the Patriot League. Now that is down to 4 teams at 5-2, including Lehigh, alongside Army, Loyola, and Colgate.
Alrighty, a quick D3 rundown. We're in the week before conference tournament starts, so we only have a couple games, couple results. We'll run through this quick. Last weekend, the most notable result was RIT beating St. Lawrence 12-9. This upcoming weekend, we have a couple great games in the Liberty League. St. Lawrence travels to RPI, and Union travels to RIT. So the top 4 teams in the Liberty League will be squaring off this weekend. Don't miss it. It will have a big impact on the rankings for the Liberty League. As far as the NESCAC goes, Bowdoin will play at Tufts tomorrow night, which we will keep an eye on. We might have some boots on the ground, but after this week, we will have a much clearer picture of the Division III landscape as we head into conference tournaments and start figuring out who those at-large bids are going to be, and alongside those automatic qualifiers from the conference. But as it looks right now, there's going to be 4 teams from the Liberty League, maybe only 1 or 2 teams from the NESCAC, a couple from the Centennial, 1 from the ODAC, and the rest will likely be automatic qualifiers, but we will know more after this weekend, so we will keep an eye on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first College Lacrosse Game Day PLL Mock Draft. This is going to be a crapshoot, but we're going to
Absolute crapshoot.
we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So there's 4 of us in this room, and we're each going to be the GM of 2 PLL teams. So we're going to draw from a hat some names of teams right now around the room, and then that'll determine the draft order. We're going to go through 2 rounds, and this is at random. We do not have in-depth analysis in these teams. We will be looking up their rosters as we go to refresh ourselves. This is a college lacrosse podcast. Be very clear about this. This is a college lacrosse podcast, not a professional podcast. We read some excellent mock drafts thus far from PCARC. More specifically, our good friend Dan Arestia just had a phenomenal mock draft he put together. Go give that a read. But if you want to have some fun too, listen to this. Here we go. We're going to draw names. Brett, pull from the hat. Just one.
1 to start.
Yep. Hayden, go ahead here.
Who'd you get, Brett?
I got the Chaos. Carolina Chaos.
Oh, I got the Water Dogs.
Philly. There you go, Mike.
Whip Snakes.
Nice. Good team there. All right. I got the Redwoods.
Ooh,
That's a fun one.
only 1 pick.
Oh, that's right. I don't pick in the first round.
Yep.
Only the second
All right,
round.
Dan, you go again. We'll do snake drafts.
Snake it. So
Yeah.
I'll go back this way.
Yep.
All right. My second team. Archers. I'm the Archers. Archers. Archers.
In the pot of gold.
Dip your hand in their heads.
Atlas.
Atlas.
Outlaws, number 1 pick.
Wow. Hayden has the ball in his court.
I got the cannons, baby.
Cannons.
I love
Alrighty.
it.
I wanted the cannons.
So,
Everyone wants the
Dan, go
Cannons.
around. What two teams do you have?
Sure. Yep. So I have the Redwoods and I have the Archers. Redwoods do not have a pick in the first round because of the Chris Gray trade, I believe.
That is correct.
All right.
All right.
Let's do this, actually. Let's go. Who has the Outlaws? We're going to go in the order of the first round. Who has the Outlaws?
I do.
Hayden has the Outlaws. Who has the Atlas?
That would be me, Mike.
We'll have the second pick with the Atlas. Who has the Whip Snakes?
Mike.
Mike has 2 and 3. So he gets
Wow.
Atlas and the Whip Snakes. Pick 4, Chaos.
Me.
That goes to Mr. Brett. And then the Atlas pick at 5. That is
Me.
Mike.
Mike is just the draft.
And then Cannons, Brett.
Me.
That's you at 6. Water Dogs,
I have the Water Dogs.
Hayden at 7. And then I have the 8th pick. I got really boned here.
Yeah, you did get
You
boned.
did.
You
Yeah.
got the 2 worst teams to be picking.
You're gonna be playing on your feet here, man.
All right, we're going to pause it for a second, just do our research on these teams. We have done our research. We are now the official GMs of our respective programs. We're going to go right through 2 rounds here. We're not going to give you a huge explanation. Just take it for what it is. We'll put it up on social, and feel free to comment your thoughts there. Sound good, boys?
That's good
Sounds
to me,
great, Dan.
Sweet on. Let's do it. Starting with round 1, going first, we have the GM of the Outlaws.
The
Hayden
most
Fry.
important pick in the draft.
Denver Outlaws, newly established team. They need a guy to build around. This is a tough first pick. There's 1 or 2 guys that could justify a pick here, but to build a brand, you need a superstar. And that superstar for the Denver Outlaws will be Brennan O'Neill. He will be the first pick in this CLG mock draft.
I think a lot of people are going to agree with you on that one.
I hate to say it,
I don't.
but he needs to go first.
He does.
He does. He does.
He does. Okay, that was anticlimactic.
It was.
I was hoping maybe to get shocked there, but we'll move on.
Sorry.
The second pick of the 2024 College Lacrosse Game Day PLL Mock Draft goes to the GM of the Atlas, which
Is me, which
Mike
I
Christensen.
think it's going to be also anticlimactic because I think it's just going to, on the next 2 picks, it's going to ring out as now everyone will play it out because the first pick was who everyone expected to be. So the Atlas will choose Connor Schellenberger.
Good pick.
It's a good pick, Mike.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
Facilitator,
It is.
quarterback.
Hey, Newt a good pick too. I think Brandon O'Neill's a good pick there.
I agree.
He's a good player.
Not bad.
Yeah. I could say he's
All
pretty
right.
good.
Some studs off the board early.
Moving on here because just go ahead. Bring me in. It's going to be a quick one.
Number 3.
Whip Snakes GM Mike Christensen.
The Whip Snakes will draft Pat Cavanaugh.
Alrighty, the
Interesting.
injury-prone Kavanaugh.
So what's
agree.
his attack line now?
For the Whip Snakes,
Yeah.
he will be with Rambo, Manny,
Yep.
and with a mix of Zed Williams and Jackson Morrell. You can also throw him on the midfield with Dordovic, Chanchuk,
So
Brad
it's
Smith.
It's a gritty team.
It's a really, you may as well.
Yeah. Zed, yeah, I feel like they rotate attack, but him and Rambo will be staples, I think, if he gets drafted there.
You're in those first 3 picks. You're taking one of those 3 attackmen.
Yep. Yeah.
All the pressure is on number 1.
It'll be interesting to see a Notre Dame guy on the Whip Snakes.
This is going to be, I don't know if Pat Cavanaugh's, we'll just kind of fire through these after this. I don't know if Pat Cavanaugh's game is going to translate as well to professional. I think his heart and his ride and just his up and down leadership is kind of what makes him as impactful as he is today. So I don't know if that's going to.
If it falls to the Whip Snakes, it's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
'Cause I think his identity matches what the Whip Snakes put out in the field product was.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, moving on. Pick 4, Chaos. GM of the Chaos is Brett Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. I went back and forth a bit. I think I'm going to take Matt Brandow, Yale attack for the Chaos. Seems like they have some pretty decent depth here, but Chris Cloutier might be a guy that could be off the field for a bit. I think Brandow could play midfield too. He's incredible at getting off his guy. He's a good one-on-one guy. Him on shorties would be a nightmare. And I think they could use a little bit of depth on offense. So, they got Jules Henningberg, Kyle Jackson, Will Perry, friend of the show. But yeah, I'm going to go Brandow.
Yep. Immediately
Solid pick, Brett.
we'll make that offense
It's a good
better.
pick.
Good pick, Brett. All right, the Atlas. Mike, back to you. Pick 5. Atlas, you took Connor Schellenberger at pick 2. Your second pick of the
I
draft.
think I'm going to surprise some people here. The Atlas are going to select Ajax Zapatello.
Wow.
You have a Maryland guy going to essentially a Maryland team.
The Atlas? They're not a Maryland team.
Sorry, not the Atlas. My apologies. Sorry. 1 sec. I was looking at the Whip Snakes.
You got to repick.
I was looking at the Whip Snakes.
Okay.
No, you're good. You got to repick. So you're the Atlas, pick 5.
If I'm the Atlas, I'm going
Sorry, Ajax.
at Ajax. I'm sorry, buddy. Your number will get called pretty quickly. I'm taking the next best offensive threat. You may as well. I think you go midi here. I think all the best attackmen are taken off. Maybe go Shane Knobloch, midi Rutgers.
Yeah. I didn't watch him until this year, man. He's
legit.
He's unbelievable.
He's legit.
Yeah.
He'll be a really good 2-point threat in the PLL too. Both hands.
Aresti is saying he can play 2 ways, which I believe just from watching how athletic he is with the ball on his stick. Yeah, that's a good pick. Atlas takes Shane Knobloch. Cannons, pick 6. Cannons' first pick of the draft. They had a great season last year, a complete team. They were missing Lyle Thompson. I don't know what his status is this year. Does anyone know that?
I think he said he was returning last
See, though.
year.
I don't know if
think
he's going to be on the Cannons, but we'll see.
He said he would take the year off, as far as I know.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll look into it. But Cannons, pick 6.
Again, I went back and forth a bit. The Cannons, it has to be a culture guy. They also, I think I'm going to go with a face-off guy. I'm going to go Jake Naso. It's an early pick, but they need a face-off guy. Duke, stud. I think he's just going to change the way. They have solid team. Again, good culture, good guys, good goal scorers. Their attack is super deep. They need the ball. Jake Naso.
Yep. Good
I
pick,
like the
Brett.
pick. And did you see they changed the rules for face-off?
Yep.
You can't use
No
LSMs
polls.
anymore. No polls.
Okay.
So
Then-
it's a good pick.
okay.
Because you need, now it's going to make every team, like teams would not dress the face-off guy just to, because
Yep.
they'd go against Baptiste. They
True.
wouldn't dress a face-off guy, just put a pole out there to play whack-a-mole. But
ridiculous.
now it's it's a good pick. It's a
Yeah,
good pick for
they're-
as a Cannons fan.
Pay the
I'm happy.
Fogos.
They're
Goes.
so deep. Leave more people
Pay
on
'em.
the board. Leave more people on the board.
Yep. Dogs, pick 7. Water Dog first pick of this draft.
So,
Defending runner-ups.
yes, I think, they're obviously loaded on attack, but it's a Philadelphia team. Water Dogs are a Philly team. They need a Philly boy. Guy who's projected to go a little bit later in the draft, but they're going to take TJ Malone, number 7 out
I
of
like
Penn
it.
State.
That's a good pick.
Join up with his Penn State guys, add some spark to that attack, down with Sowers and the other guys. I think Malone is going to be a Water Dog.
I could see him in purple.
You think he's going to start an
really
attack right away
I think he'll play right away.
with
Out of the
Sowers?
box.
Was it Sowers McCardle?
Yeah, it'd be Sowers, McCardle, and then Ethan Walker's down there too.
Yeah.
So is Jack Trainer, his former teammate.
No, I think TJ Malone's better
But
than
he can
both
he
of them.
can run out of the box. You know, they're kind of play 2-way guys on offense in Conrad and Zach Courier and Jack Hanna. I think he's going to be a purely offensive guy for the Water Dogs and is going to be a Philadelphia superstar.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick.
Okay.
The 8th pick, last pick of the first round, the Archers, their first pick of the draft. I am going to take a defenseman who was mentioned earlier, Ajax Zapatello.
Nice.
The Archers are pretty slim defensively. They have Graham Hossack, Warren Jeffrey, and Patrick Shumay. Patrick Shumay is from RIT. Warren Jeffrey's from Vermont. Graham Hossack from the soon closing Lindenwood. Hossack, I think, click his bio real quick. He was one of the defensive player of the year at one point.
Oh, yeah.
He's
He's a stud.
Yep, All-Star 2021, 2022.
They had,
Defensive
what's his-
Player of the Year in 2021. First team All-Pro 2021, 2023. He's the real deal.
He is.
And if you've ever seen him, and he's going to keep putting the cross. He is a scary human.
They had McMahon or whatever his name. He
Yes.
retired.
Yeah, he did retire.
So
and
that's
he
a
was
big-
good.
He was really good.
He was their cover guy. So I'm pumped as the Archers GM to have Ajax in our locker room on our defense, a part of our team.
I wish we had him on the whipsticks.
Good
Too
pick.
bad. So round 2, we're going right back to the Outlaws. They get the first pick of this second round. This is pick 9 in the College Across Game Day.
Yep, we're
PLL
going to pick
mock
a
draft.
guy who a lot of, analysts would probably have going top 4, maybe even top 3. But the Denver Outlaws need a goalie. they're going to get Liam Entenmann, first goalie off the board, which we probably forgot about, that goalies could be drafted because he's probably not going to drop this far. But if he's available here, the Outlaws are going to get Liam Entenmann.
And who's their goalie now? It's Scanoni.
Sean Scanoni, who's good. He's solid, and he could be a starter for a couple teams. But if Liam Entenmann is still on the board at this pick, they're going to go and grab it.
Dude, it's just there's
no question.
There's 8 professional lacrosse goalies in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
That's
and
it.
I think Liam Entenmann is a top 8 goalie in the world.
Wow.
I think I agree.
Yep.
I agree. All right, that's it for the Outlaws in this mock draft. Now the Atlas with their 3rd pick at pick 10. They've taken Shane Knobloch and they've taken Connor Schellenberger.
I was gonna go Liam Entenmann here, but I still think that, and we just spoke about how few goalies there truly are in the PLL, but they just had Jack and Cannon retire for the Atlas. They do still have Tim Troutner and Drake Porter, but I think you can draft, and with my draft pick with the Atlas, I'm getting Chase Erlin.
Wow.
I think he's having a phenomenal year, and I think he can easily start from day one, if not learn behind Troutner or Drake Porter and then take over.
So the Atlas take.
You like Chase Ireland over Will Mark?
I do.
Okay.
He's a follower of the pod. Will Mark is a follower of the pod. You can't take it back now.
I can't take it back.
He said what he said.
Both are tremendous goalies, and if I'm being honest, if Will Mark, if you're listening, I was going to take Entenmann, and then I got stifled. And it was the first name I saw. The first name I saw was Chase Erlin, and both you guys are terrific goalies. But
Good recovery.
Chase Erlin also is playing in blue at the moment. He'll be playing in blue pro with the Atlas.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense,
Right.
Yep.
The Outlaws with their, what's his, 3rd pick?
3rd pick.
Pick 11.
Look, you went out and got Brennan O'Neill with the 1st pick. Why not go get his partner in crime, Dyson Williams? Created a prolific attack up in Denver. The two Blue Devils will be the face of the Denver Outlaws organization for years to come.
A high-flying offense in the Rockies.
Yep. I think that'll be good for the league, it'll be good for the Outlaws, and it'll certainly be good for the Duke Blue Devils.
Does Dyson go without Brennan, though? Does Dyson go without him?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he gets picked sooner. I don't know.
Really? Okay.
I mean, he's probably a top 10 prospect, number 1 pick in the NLL. Unbelievable
that could be
finisher.
True. That could be true.
He's going to go high in the draft.
He'll have elite Dodgers and passers doing elite Dodger and passer things in the PLL for him. So it'll be fun.
I'm in a tough spot here.
Is Dyson Williams a lefty?
Yes.
Yes.
So now you get 3 lefties at attack.
Yeah, Wisnauskas, O'Neill, and Dyson Williams.
You're going 3
left
lefties.
side. That is not something. That is not an issue whatsoever.
We'll see.
Especially Brett O'Neill's both hands. Wisnauskas doesn't come out of the box. It's fine.
If this happens, Hayden's going to be the head coach.
We'll make it work.
I'm not going to
The
do
best
pairs.
wheel. in
Well,
the
it's on
country.
record, so
The best wheel. Oh, shit.
Love to see that happen. Chaos at pick 12.
Okay.
Chaos, who have you taken so far? You've taken Matt. You took Matt Brandow in the 1st round.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have pick 12.
I'm going to go. I think the Chaos still need a little more depth of the midfield. I'm going to take a guy that just is a one-on-one master. I'm going Eric Dobson. I think that guy is just a game wrecker. I think he's going to change their offense. Again, they got some old guys on their offense. Jules, not quite sure. He might move around more. Kyle Jackson, undersized. So I'm going to throw him on the offense as well.
So he's now paired up with Perkovic. So you got 2 huge
big physical
Notre Dame.
for Andy Towers.
I think Dobson's better than him, and I think Perkovic will move.
Interesting.
They could also be a 2-head monster if it works out well.
They
Good.
could be.
Perkovic is listed as a defensive midfielder, FYI.
He has been transitioning more into that role recently.
Yeah, he's gonna. He'll stay on to shoot the ball, and he's leaving a hole with the Redwoods. Mm-hmm. He definitely is leaving a hole with the Redwoods. Yep. So the Redwoods, with their 1st pick of this mock draft, pick 15, which is crazy. Their 1st pick at pick 15, we are going to take Jake Stevens.
That's a great pick. He actually fell pretty far back.
Syracuse, Princeton. He's going to play both ways for us. He's going to play wings of the face-offs. I can't wait to get him in our locker room because I think the guys are going to love him right away.
He could be a first-round pick.
He will fit in on any team.
Yep.
He could be a first-round pick
Definitely.
easily.
I agree. In our pre-draft meetings, he was phenomenal. We're really excited for that.
I almost picked him with the Cannons.
Well, you didn't, did you?
He was my next pick.
Now he's going to the Redwoods.
Well,
Just
now-
don't need guys like that.
I mean, now you're stuck here. So you got Cannon's pick. What's this, 16? No, I'm sorry. 8 times 2 is 16. This is pick. What's 16 minus 3?
13.
13, 14. No, this is 14. Pick 14.
Okay, pick 14.
The Redwoods was pick 13. Cannon's pick 14. You previously took Jake Naso at face-off, and that was your only pick so far.
Okay. I might bring his teammate. I might draft a defenseman. I'm going to take Kenny Brower. Duke.
Solid pick.
Duke.
You can team up
defense.
with Cade Van Raphorst.
Yep. Yeah,
And-
we got
and
Van,
Two lefties.
we got Van Raphorst. We got Epple, new addition to that defensive unit.
That's
Yeah.
a really good defensive unit.
They're already solid.
And who's Keelty?
Yeah.
Jack Keelty.
Max Wayne gets out of that lineup.
Jake Pulver probably won't break that. He'll be some value to trade or
Our
whatnot.
Cannons insured that defense up. Now Brett made it even better.
Max Wayne
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cut.
I agree.
cut.
It was time. It was time.
It was time.
Yep.
So Water Dogs at pick 15.
Yep. I think you go and you get the highest prospect left on the board. A guy who has grit running through his veins. An Albany guy. A long stick midfielder. Jake Pisano. He'll go up and down for the Water Dogs. They're a little bit light at LSM with Rylan Reese, who only played about half the games last year, and Chris Sabia, who plays a lot of close defense. I think if they can get Jake Pisano here, that would be an absolute steal for them. They would be ecstatic to have him run the field for the Water
I
Dogs.
think it's a good fit for the
Interesting.
situation.
Interesting.
He's a little undersized, in my opinion. That's why I didn't take him.
He's a PLL prototype, LSM.
For all time, sure. Well,
I agree.
the last pick of the draft here?
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick.
Yeah.
Of the second round, at least, not the entire draft.
Yep. Last pick of the second round. This is really tough. I'm a little bit lost here. The Archers have pick 16. I'm going to be taking
Drum roll, please.
Levi Anderson, St. Joe's.
Love it. Love it.
Friend of
love
the
it,
podcast.
love it.
Biased pick, but
Love
yes, I like it.
Friend of the podcast.
He's a foreigner. You've never covered someone like Levi Anderson. You haven't.
He's
You
an
haven't-
alien.
You haven't seen him until he's on the field.
He's huge. He's silky. He's Canadian. Perfect fit.
What time are we at here?
20 minutes.
Okay. Do you want me to run through what we had real quick?
Sure.
Just so the fans know.
Yep.
All right. Here is our final 2024 College Lacrosse Game Day version 1 of the PLL Mock Draft.
First two
1.0.
First 2 rounds. Yep. 1.0. We'll do it next week too. Kidding. Outlaws take Brent O'Neill with the first pick. Atlas, they take Connor Schellenberger. The Whip Snakes take Pat Kavanaugh. The Chaos take Matt Brandow. The Atlas pick up Shane Knobloch. Cannons get Jake Naso. Water Dogs pick up TJ Malone. And the Archers sign Ajax Zapatello. Round 2. The Outlaws take Liam Entenman. In net, the Atlas take Chase Erlin. Outlaws with their third pick take Dyson Williams. Chaos get Eric Dobson from Notre Dame. Redwoods select Jake Stevens. Cannons get Kenny Brower. Water Dogs select. Who the Water Dogs select?
Jake Pisano.
Jake Pisano. And then the Archers take Levi Anderson. That is our mock draft. Now our Week 12 slate. If you like what you're hearing, like and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on social as well, at College Lacrosse Game Day on Instagram, at Lacrosse Game Day on Twitter. I hate doing that, but we have to because we need help. Starting Thursday, April 25th, 1 game on Thursday. Holy Cross at Lemoyne, 7 o'clock. Non-conference games. Both teams will not make the conference tournament. This game is quite literally a pickup game. Friday, April 26. Bunch of games on Friday, starting with Drexel at Monmouth. They're both 2-4 in the conference. This one's at 3 p.m. The winner does have a chance to make the CAA tournament. The loser is definitely out. We'll see how things shake up. UMass at High Point, 3 p.m. on Friday.
This is the battle for the 3 or 4 seed in the A10 tournament. You do want to go into the A10 tournament with a win because you will be playing either Richmond or St. Joe's, who are both very tough opponents to beat. UMass definitely does not want to lose another. That'd be 2 in a row heading into conference tournament play, even though they just did have a great game in their loss to Richmond. This matchup is also very even on a level of play standpoint, just the level of play that UMass and High Point have been playing in the past couple of weeks. Some notable players to watch in this game for UMass: Matt Note, 12th in the country in save percentage, and for UMass, Senior Attackman Mason Bregman and Mike Tobin. And then for High Point, Attackman Brandon Maea and Jack Vanderbeek, and then their face-off man Colin Hoban, who is 21st in the country in face-off percentage.
Next, we have a Patriot League matchup, BU at Colgate. This one is at 6 p.m.
Yep. So BU is 4-3 in the Patriot League. Colgate is 5-2. Both teams have secured a spot in the Patriot League tournament. So this game is solely for seeding purposes. Colgate is in a 4-way tie for first in the conference. Last week it was a 6-way tie. Now it's a 4-way tie. They are tied with Army, Lehigh, and Loyola. Army and Loyola will play this week, so one of those will drop out. BU is in a 2-way tie with Navy for 5th in the conference. So both teams have secured a spot, but if Colgate wins, they will be sitting pretty for the Patriot League tournament, being a top 3 seed at least, probably higher. And BU, if they lose, not much will change. If they win, not much will change either, but big game for seeding purposes.
Following back up on Army at Loyola. This one's at 7 p.m.
Yep, so like I just mentioned, both teams are part of the 4-way tie at the top of the Patriot League. The winner of this game will be a top 2 seed in the tourney and will earn a bye. So there is lots to play for here. Whoever wins this game, Army or Loyola, will get a bye in the Patriot League tournament. Essentially, the winner will rise. The loser will fall to that 4th or 5th spot, which is going to be tough for them because they're going to have to see Army probably, or whoever that top number 1 seed is, they're going to have to see them earlier than expected.
As said already, the Patriot League has determined who's in and who's out. You got to love the CBS Sports broadcast with these Patriot League games.
Yes, you do.
They put a microphone in the cage. So you can
hear that ping?
Hear the ping. You can hear the defense communicating. I think it's really cool. They're going to continue to do it throughout the tournament. I wish they did it the whole season.
Hopefully they do. And one last thing about the Patriot League is the number 1 seed hosts the tournament. So with that game, Army and Loyola, whoever wins that may have a chance at hosting the tournament.
It's confusing with all the similar records. We'll see what happens. Another Patriot League game, Bucknell at Navy. This one's at 7 o'clock. Navy's in, Bucknell's not. Good lacrosse game at Navy, 7 o'clock Friday. Throw it on if you don't have anything else to do. This is a huge game. Could be a game of the week. The CAA Royalty meet at 7 o'clock Friday night. Towson at Delaware.
CAA Royalty is right. Both of these teams have had dominant performances in the CAA, both being 6-0, undefeated in conference play. They are fighting for the first seed in the CAA tournament. This feels like it could very well be a rematch of the championship, the 1 versus 2 seed battling it out. The tournament is already decided. It's at Towson, and you do just want to be hosting the tournament and be the 1 seed. It's just how it works. You want to be that 1 seed at home. For as far as for comparison for offense and defense here, scoring offense, Delaware is number 13 in the country. Towson is number 8. Scoring defense is even more impressive. We're talking about the number 2 and number 3 scoring defenses in the country, both only allowing around 8 goals a game. It could definitely be contributed to goaltender play, especially Delaware's goalie, Kevin Ellington. He's number 1 in the country in save percentage at 61%.
Wow. Next, we have Providence at St. John's at 7 p.m. St. John's wins this. Unlikely they'll move into a tie with Providence for the 4th seed in the Big East. Something to keep an eye on if you are a Big East fan. More importantly, we have Georgetown at Villanova at 7 p.m.
Yep, so Georgetown is currently 2nd in the Big East. Villanova is 2-2 and tied for that 4th spot. Even with a win here, Georgetown will likely not be the number 1 seed. That is assuming that Denver will beat Marquette this week, which they probably will. Georgetown lost to Denver 2 weeks ago. Their only loss in their 10 last games, so they've been rolling. But these teams will likely meet again in the first round of the Big East tournament. Obviously, Georgetown's a better team. They've been having a great season. They had, if you recall, those first 2 games of the season, they lost to Loyola and Hopkins, which is hurting their ranking. But had they beat one of those teams, they probably would be a top 5 team right now. Georgetown is deep. They're senior heavy. Carroll, Haley, Bundy, Vardaro. They're all household names we've been watching for years now. They are a team that, is really looking to make a deep run, not in the Big East tournament, but in the NCAA tournament. So this is where they turn on the Jets, get through the Big East, and earn themselves a spot in the NCAA tournament.
That's 5, 7 o'clock Friday night games for those who are counting. Another Patriot League game on Friday, Lehigh at Lafayette. This one's at 7:30. Lehigh in the tournament. Lafayette is not. Should be a good contest. Marquette at Denver. This one's at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Denver 4-0. They will be the 1 seed in the Big East tourney. Marquette 0-4. They're not going to make it. That's it for Friday. Moving on to Saturday, April 27th, starting at 12 noon, Air Force at Robert Morris. Air Force is currently in a 3-way tie for the 1 seed in the ASUN. There's 3 teams that are at 7-1. Robert Morris is currently tied for 5th, and we all know that they can be scary team in conference tournament play, as they have been in the past in conferences like the NEC. And then Bellarmine at Jacksonville, ASUN action at 12 noon.
This is just a good ASUN game, and we don't really get to say that too often. I think Hayden actually said that last week, but they're usually fun, not always good. But these teams are both really good and already in the ASUN tournament. The playoff implications is what's really important in this game as far as the seeding. So Jacksonville is playing for the 1 seed. They're in that 3-way tie, sitting at 7-1. With Air Force and Utah, they have dominated this year with only 1 loss in conference play. Bellarmine, with a win, asserts themselves as the 4th seed. With a loss, they open themselves up to dropping all the way down to 6th seed and having to play the 1 seed, depending on what Cleveland State and Robert Morris do this weekend. This is also a Southern tilt and will be played in the southernmost team's home field, the Rock Lacrosse Center in Jacksonville. It's going to be 81 degrees and sunny on Sunday.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Can't ask for lacrosse weather like that. Next, we have Cleveland State at Detroit Mercy. Talked about this in All Guts a bit. Detroit is fighting for a spot in the ASUN tourney. They beat Bellarmine. A win here would mean a spot in the ASUN tourney for them. Next, we have Merrimack at Bryant. This one's at noon.
Yeah, Merrimack really needs a win here. They are currently in 6th place, the lone 6th place team in the American East. So they need a win. Bryant is tied for 2nd place. There's a 4-way tie for 2nd place in the American East. Albany is number 1, and Bryant is tied with UMBC, Binghamton, and Vermont. A win here for Bryant would secure a spot in the AE tourney. But even if they lose, they have a pretty good shot at getting in, but they do not want to leave this up to fate. I think Bryant wins this game and secures their spot.
What's crazy is you can be 4-2 going to the last game of the year and you don't have a spot in your conference tournament. The American East is stacked. It's a difficult conference. Fairfield at Hampton. This one is at 12 noon. Fairfield is likely going to make the CAA if they win this one, which they will. They're going to have a great chance of being in that tournament. I think they might lock in, actually. And then
They're already locked in.
Okay, yep. And then a terrific game is Duke at UNC at 12 noon.
Obviously, a massive rivalry game, but it could be one of the more lopsided matchups between Duke and UNC in recent memory. Duke's obviously the favorite in this game. There are massive at-large implications. Obviously, UNC is out of contention, but Duke has a lot to play for. I actually just saw a thing on Lacrosse Reference where they compared current RPIs, how they do it for the tournament, and if the season ended today, Duke would be number 2 in the at-large picture. So this is a huge win for them, especially against a bitter rival. You do not want to lose this game. And then for Brendan O'Neill, we talk about his draft stock. I think this is a huge win just for him and for memory, and to beat UNC in his senior year, to add to his stellar resume. And then matchups in this game. Soon-to-be PLL defenseman Kenny Brower on freshman Owen Duffy, who leads the Tar Heels with 54 points. And then also, I'd assume Paul Barton for UNC would be on Brendan O'Neill. 2 matchups to watch.
We have Lindenwood at Mercer at noon. Both teams out of the ASUN tournament. This is the last game ever for the Lindenwood program. Can they get a win? There will be a party. Win or lose there. We got Hofstra at Stony Brook at noon.
Yep. So just a reminder, CAA game. Top 4 teams make the CAA tournament. Both teams are in a 4-way tie for the 4th spot. So for that 4th spot, the coveted 4th spot, there's a 4-way tie between Hofstra, Stony Brook, Drexel, and Monmouth. Hofstra and Stony Brook, obviously the game we're talking about, play this week. And then Drexel and Monmouth play this week as well. So this is a playoff game. If you win, you have a shot at getting that 4th spot. If you lose, your season is done. I like Stony Brook. They're a team we've been talking about since week 0. Guys like Palinetti, Dupuis, Noah Armitage, who's a PLL draft prospect. They're all beasts. Give me the Seawolves in this one. I think they're a team that could make a run in the CAA.
Interesting. Then another game at 12 noon is Princeton at Yale, one of our Lax.com games of the week, going to cover in a bit. And then UMBC at Vermont, two of these teams that are in the 4-2 tie in the American East, 12 noon.
Mm-hmm. Whoever loses this game is out of the American East tournament. Wild to think that a 4-2 team with one game left in the season could miss the tournament. But as Dan mentioned, the American East is pretty stacked this year. It's uber competitive. Right now, there are 4 4-2 teams, and then Albany's at number 1 at 5-1 at the moment. Vermont hosted the tournament last year and had an early exit, losing to Albany, who eventually lost to Bryant, the eventual crown champion. Vermont is itching to get another chance at an America East Tournament championship. UMBC's last time in the America East Tournament was 2 years ago, and they lost to Vermont in the championship. So not only is this already a heated in-conference matchup, it's also going to be a must-win for both these teams, just like in 2022.
Interesting. And then we have this is the bottom of the American East. Moved from a pretty competitive game to the bottom. UMass Lowell at NJIT. This one's at 1 o'clock on Saturday. The only 1 o'clock game. NJIT, it'd be great if they won because they could finish the year above 500. I think that would be a huge accomplishment for their program. Notre Dame at Virginia is 2 o'clock, Lax.com game of the week, obviously. And then Brown at Harvard. Hayden, I want to throw it to you here for a second. I know I should talk about this, but somehow Brown can get into the dance.
Yeah, they can. And it seems hard to believe. But that win against Princeton is doing a lot for them. Brown is currently 2-3 with a win against Dartmouth and Princeton. Harvard is out of the tournament. Harvard is 1-4. They have no shot at making the tournament, unfortunately, which is crazy to think because they were ranked as high as 7 or 8 this year.
Yeah, it sucks to say a similar story to NJIT. I mean, obviously, they're Harvard. They're playing better teams, but it's really what it is.
Yeah, I mean, Harvard just could not get themselves out of the Ivy League gauntlet. Brown has somehow managed to give themselves a chance. So right now they have a 21% chance to make the Ivy League tournament. That's according to Lax Reference on Twitter. Go follow him. He has a great page. He is the statistic wizard for lacrosse. I won't go on about him, but his account is unbelievable. But essentially, if Brown beats Harvard, which they can do, they will have a shot at the tournament, assuming that Princeton will lose to Yale. If Princeton beats Yale, Princeton's in.
Yeah.
But that's a tall task for Princeton.
It's a big assumption.
Brown needs to beat Harvard. They need to focus on Brown. They need to play Brown lacrosse. They have a chance to do it.
Interesting. And then another Ivy League game. This one's kind of for shits here. Cornell at Dartmouth. This one's at 4 o'clock. Cornell cannot let up. They want the 1 seed. They want to host the Ivy League tournament. It would be really cool for them. Then the two teams at the bottom of the A10, hurts to say this, Hobart at St. Bonaventure. This game's at 4 o'clock at St. Bonnie's. I think St. Bonnie's in Buffalo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a game in Buffalo, 4 o'clock. It'll be the end of both these programs' season. Shout out to those senior statesmen. Love you guys. Great job throughout your career. This season is not a big indicator. I could go on and on. Love you guys. St. Joe's at Richmond, 4 o'clock. It's one of our games of the week, our Lax.com games of the week. That's a great A10 game. It's going to decide who's the 1 seed in the tournament for the A10, I believe.
Yes.
We'll talk about it in a bit.
Yes.
And then we have Binghamton at UAlbany. This one's at 7 o'clock on Saturday.
Yep. Binghamton could really use a win here. It's the American East. It's deep. A team like Binghamton, who's not at the top of the standings, needs to win this game. If they win, they are in. If they lose, their fate is left up to others and the results coming from this weekend. Just to touch on Albany, they're very good. They played Yale tough. Not sure if you watched that game. They lost 17-10, but it was closer than the score indicates. That was 2 weeks ago. They're certainly the favorite to win the American East.
Yeah, next we have Queens at Utah. Classic top of the ASUN versus bottom of the ASUN. It should remain that way, and that'll do it. Now, it is with great pleasure I get to introduce to you our next guest on the College Across Game Day podcast. Last year for the Princeton Tigers, he was a second-team All-American, unanimous first-team All-Ivy on the Twarton Final 25 list. He is back on that list this year. He holds the school record at Princeton for goals in a single season. Junior Attackman, Coulter Mackesy.
What a goal! From 50 yards out, Coulter Mackesy caught Krieg sleeping.
Coulter, we're pumped to have you. Thanks so much for joining the show, man.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Just going through your bio before we get recording here, I saw you were a squash captain at Brunswick, which is very interesting as someone who's never played squash. Just be cool to hear about your experience playing that sport, and also curious if you still play right now.
Yeah, it's definitely like popular up in the Northeast where I grew up. My dad was a tennis player in college, and there was squash courts down the road from us where I grew up. So me and my brother started at like a pretty young age and played it really competitively ever since. And my brother ended up playing at Virginia, and I played until junior year when I committed to Princeton for lacrosse. But no, I loved it. Some of my best friends, best memories are on the squash court. And learned a ton about myself and sports through squash.
Yeah,
it was always a great break from lacrosse. You know, it's easy to get burnt out. So it's just a great balance.
Totally. That's so interesting. And the skill translation has to be something there. I mean, it's, the lacrosse is not a racket sport, but close. You're swinging a stick.
Yeah, definitely some hand-eye coordination, some quick thinking, quick reactions, mental toughness, obviously in like a individual sport. So yeah, I think there's a lot that translates to lacrosse. And I still play here and there with my brother and dad who work me, but it's always fun to get back out there.
I'll have to watch that at some point. Those are probably some very competitive games.
Yeah, it never fails.
That's awesome. Yeah, so just for context for viewers, so kind of how we made this happen was a connection made to you, Coach Islanian, or Chris Islanian. He's a current Cannons midfielder, Hobart alum, was a guest to the show in week 3. He just moved on as an assistant at Princeton, but I wanted to ask you, playing for him or maybe even like shooting or training with him because he was getting ready for the PLL season. I'm sure a lot of guys dream about having a coach who's kind of in this situation. Just want to ask what that experience was like playing for Chris.
Yeah, it was amazing having him in the locker room. Like obviously his experience and his work ethic, just being around him every day was just awesome for all of our guys. Like he would lead our like shooting extras every day is what we call it, or shooting school, where we go out like 30 minutes before practice and just get like really good reps with him. And then just having him as like just a resource for questions and like ideas. He would always like help me with kind of mindset and like recovery stuff, which is huge. And just having him as a guy on the sidelines I knew I could trust and kind of bounce questions off is always awesome.
Totally. Yep. Having a kind of almost a player coach. Cause I mean, he's playing the game too. He sees it at the same speed you guys do, which I think is so cool. And it's gotta be helpful when you're playing in the Ivy League. I mean, every week we ask, what's it like playing in your conference? And last week we had Eric Molliver on from Maryland, and the Big Ten every week. It's very competitive, but like, the Ivy League, it's just crazy because every game everyone kind of has this idea of, okay, this team's better, this team's worse. They're having a good year, they're having a down year, but it just does not matter when you guys meet with whoever you're playing, whether it's Brown, whether it's Pennsylvania, it doesn't matter. But want to ask you, what is it like competing in this conference every single week?
Yeah, it's definitely there's no shortage of bad blood or history between each program, so you kind of never know what you're going to get, but you also know you're going to get the hardest working guys out there. So every game's a battle, every game's a war for sure. And I feel like it's weird because our coaches kind of recruit all the same guys. I feel like most of the Ivy League guys are fit for the others. So
Right.
you kind of know each other. They know the same teams. There's not much transfer portal stuff going on.
Yep.
Within the Ivy League. So once you're in the league, you kind of see the same guys for 4 years in a row. So there's definitely a rivalry within the game against players you face off against every year.
Totally. Yep. And you're seeing similar faces, similar names, and also just the teams. You know their identity. You kind of have an idea of what they're going to do, how they're going to come out every week. So it's so fun watching the Ivy League every single week, and you guys go toe to toe with every single conference, which is awesome. And specifically, I want to call it your freshman year when you guys go to East Hartford in the Final Four. It must have been a magical run. I mean, you go all the way to the Final Four, and you run into Maryland, who is, no one was beating that team in 2022. They were a buzzsaw. But I just want to ask you about that experience, going that far and having as good a team you did that season. I guess, how does that experience maybe influence how you're leading your team this year, looking at the postseason as a junior?
Yeah. Looking back on it, obviously that group of seniors and upperclassmen came back after missing a whole, 2 years from COVID, which, like my freshman class, we never really felt the feelings they felt losing 2 seasons and all the built up kind of anger and all the built up energy that kind of took us through that year. So just remembering how hard it is and how much work it takes to actually get to that point. And then just the importance of like the team and how strong we are together, and take nothing for granted.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think people forget that the Ivy League didn't play for 2 years, which is like, we all went through COVID and had our, whether that's missing lacrosse or something far worse. I think that was, horrible time, whatever. But you don't play lacrosse for 2 seasons. And I think you kind of lose your why a little bit. It has to put in perspective how important opportunities are on a weekly basis, like this weekend playing against Yale.
Yeah, for sure. Like, our seniors our upperclassmen my freshman year were all over the country during that COVID year, just trying to stick together and do as much as they can as a team. But yeah, it was definitely a tough challenge for them, but credit to all those guys for kind of keeping the team together and keep working hard over that long, year and a half it was without another official game. So they came in hungrier than I've ever seen a group, and just trying to recreate that hunger is what we're trying to do to make a postseason run here.
Totally. Not an easy thing to do. And I think, just wanted to throw this at you, I think to no one's surprise, you're leading the Tigers in points this year, 46 on the year. And then following you in that category, there's 2 freshmen, Nate Kabiri with 45, Colin Burns with 29. I obviously looked that up before this interview, but I didn't need to know offensively you guys are relying on some pretty stellar young bucks. So I think from your perspective now as a junior, it would be really cool to hear about your relationship with these guys and what it's been like leading this group all year.
Yeah, they're really easygoing. Honestly, they're we're great friends off the field, which makes things even easier and more awesome. But they push me as much as I push them to be our best. And I think we're just getting started and getting better every game with our chemistry. And as the midfield starts to turn up towards the end of the year, the the more diverse we can get with our scoring, the better we're going to be. And I just can't credit them enough for stepping up in huge games as freshmen. And our coaches say that freshmen are no longer freshmen, which is true. They've been through battles and are leaders on this team already. So, it's definitely a group effort on the offense, and I think we're just getting started.
That's awesome. And then going into this last game against Yale, last regular season game against Yale, is there a specific mentality you guys have going into this one? I know Yale likes to consider themselves as the bully. They come out, they're loud, they want to punch you in their face before the opening face-off. During warm-ups, they're chirping and getting rowdy. But anything specific in terms of your team's mentality going into this one?
Not really. We always say that scared dogs bark, so we just let our play do the talking, and by the end of the game, they'll be quiet and we'll be hooting and hollering.
Love it, man. I fucking love it. Good luck this weekend, and thanks so much for joining the show. Really, really appreciate it, brother.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Coulter. Take it easy.
Thanks.
Now our Lax.com games of the week. Shout out Lax.com. We cover every game every week, so do they. Using lacrosse reference in their statistics of every single game, every single week, we use them for all our information to make sure we are up to date and able to talk about some of the things we have the privilege to talk about on this show. And, as we're getting ready to record here, we got Hayden over there. What are you doing over there, Hayden?
Just stringing a stick,
What head?
String King Mark II-V.
Yep.
Using String King 4S that was purchased on Lax.com, along with they have a Gimalax sidewall kit that they sell. I think also if you dig deep down in their archives, you can get spools of sidewall shooters. All your stringing needs in one place. It's a great resource and shop if you're, someone like me who loves stringing my own sticks. And, they're my go-to for lacrosse equipment, like we mentioned last week. We've all probably bought something off Lax.com once in our lives, and we're fortunate enough to have them as a partner.
Without a question.
Yeah. So, we're very lucky, to say the very least. These are our games of the week. We have a few different conferences here. We're winding down. There's not as many games, so we have very specifics here. Princeton at Yale, 12 noon on ESPN+. This is coming after a huge win for Princeton over Penn. How did I forget that? One of our games of the week last week. Yes, and that was huge. They needed that one to stay in contention. Now they are, and they go to Yale, who's not the number one seed in the Ivy League, but I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
And this is everything but these programs.
And we talked about implications, I think. Hey, and you've talked about it 2 to 3 times already on this show. So let me take over here. This is extremely, extremely important for Princeton. This is their season right here. Assuming, again, the hypotheticals. Princeton, if they beat a very, very, very good Yale team, they make the tournament. And they have a chance to win an Ivy League championship and go into the NCAA championship playoffs. If they lose, they put their fate into the hands of a team that beat them this year in Brown, which you never want to do at the end of your season. You want to have all control over all the variables, control the controllables, right, Dan? Yes. So that there, and then if you look at Yale is a team that is fighting for a at-large bid, assuming obviously the Ivy League is a very hard conference to win. So this is, again, extremely important.
Yeah. Yeah, so Yale is definitely on the fence for an at-large bid.
Very on the fence.
Very on the fence. I think if they beat Princeton this week...
Are they?
They are.
Yes.
In RPI, Cornell's ahead of them.
Yale's 11-2. You're telling me they're not going to get an at-large?
If they lose this game, if they lose a game in the Ivy League tournament,
no.
Assuming they lose to Cornell in the championship, you never know. Everybody's on the fence. Like, no one's a guarantee. Yes, Yale is on the fence, but probably more likely than not to get an at-large bid with their current resume. But if they lose this game and then they drop a game to Penn or whoever it is in the Ivy League tournament, then you don't know.
So if they have 2 more losses, they're at risk.
Yes.
Okay.
I would say even with, with 2 more losses, they're at risk. So this is a big game for them. It is their senior day, and it's pretty rare for a team to go into a senior day at a hostile environment and win a game, especially against a team like Yale. So Princeton has a tall task, but like we've mentioned, they need to win this game. They really, really need to win this game. If they don't and Brown loses, they're still in. I think they're a team that's deserving of that 4th spot. I would love to see Brown. I think everybody loves rooting for Brown, watching them win, watching them upset teams, but Princeton has been the stronger team all year long. They're probably more talented. They have more depth. They're young, like we said. A lot of these names that we've talked about throughout the weeks will be returning next year. So this is going to be a toss-up. Princeton's been playing really well. That win against Penn was huge for them. We'll see, but like you said, Dan, Yale is a team that no one wants to see.
No.
So you're saying you think Princeton's better than Yale?
No. That's not what I said, but I think they could win this game. I think they have more to play for.
Okay. I agree. The second game of the week, Notre Dame at Virginia. This one's on ESPNU at 2 o'clock. Before the Syracuse game, if you asked me who are the 2 best teams in the country, I would have said Notre Dame and Virginia. I think we all would have said Notre Dame and Virginia.
I think they still might be. Notre Dame, definitely. Virginia, you play that Syracuse game at Virginia, I think Virginia wins that game. I think Syracuse had a perfect day. I think, they're used to playing in the Dome. They had the crowd. They did everything they possibly could have done to win that game. Virginia is still an unbelievable team. They just fell a goal short of a red-hot Syracuse team. I think Virginia is the second best team in the country. I think you can make an argument that Duke is up there, but Virginia can beat anybody, and I think we can all agree on that.
But I think Virginia's issue, and Hughes exposed it, is their defense.
Mm-hmm.
Nunes.
There you go.
God, I'm so bad with names. Nunes.
Nunez.
They allowed 18 goals, and he had 15 saves. What does that say about your defense? You're letting up a lot of shots. And if you look at them all year, they have a lot of high-scoring games, both wins and losses, where either they scored more goals than their opponent or they got outscored, which is hard to do with UVA, which makes them a good team. But I think it's going to bite them in the ass later in the year.
I also think there's few teams that
Especially
play
Notre Dame.
as fast as Syracuse does in the Dome. I think that is almost an unfair advantage for them playing in the Dome, just at the speed that they can push the ball and the confidence they have in their sticks to make some of the looks that they do. I think Notre Dame is a team that doesn't push it as much. Yes, they have the guys to do so, but they're a team that wants to get you into 6-on-6, ride the ball back, score goals off the ride, but not necessarily from offense to defense. They'll get a couple goals like that a game, but Syracuse, when they played Virginia, they were up and down. They made a save. They were out quick. They were getting it down to their attackman. They were getting looks in transition. They scored a bunch of goals like that. Notre Dame isn't that team. But, Mike, like you said, the Virginia defense has some figuring out to do. You can't let up 17 goals and expect to win, especially when your goalie has 15. Syracuse are just getting a million shots that game. You got to limit the shots. But Notre Dame can beat anybody. Virginia can beat anybody. I don't think you can say confidently who you think is going to win this game.
Notre Dame also is a top 5 scoring offense. I would like to mention that. Going into a defense, I think the goalies are going to be huge factors in this game, something to watch. It's going to be Nunes versus Entenmann. And Notre Dame has a better defense, but Notre Dame has shown that what game were we talking about? Was it last week where we said that Notre Dame wouldn't allow that many goals? Was it Duke who did it? Duke?
Yes.
Duke,
yes.
right?
No, who did it against
Notre Dame.
Cornell.
Yeah. So they can allow a lot of goals too, even though their defense has been spectacular this year and has been historically.
And in terms of what this game means, the regular season ACC title, I think it exists. I think there is a regular season ACC title for the ACC.
Probably.
But next week is the starting Friday is the ACC tournament. Carolina's out.
Out.
Carolina's out. And I don't even know if that's confirmed or not, but they're out.
They're out.
They're 0-3. Virginia and Duke are 1-2. Cuse is 3-1. Notre Dame is 3-0. If Notre Dame wins, they are the regular season ACC champs. They will be the 1 seed in that ACC tournament. The ACC tournament is at, where is the game schedule of events? Here's the schedule. They don't have a location.
1 seed host probably.
Yeah. Time, event, teams, watch. There's no location.
So then it's 1 seed.
That's gonna be so cool. No, American Legion Memorial Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's not UNC, is it? No.
No, that's
UNC's
neutral
It's not
site.
Virginia.
yeah.
It's Charlottesville.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, I thought you said Charlottesville.
No, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh, that's
gonna
like
be
an MLS
It's
stadium.
it's a neutral site.
yeah. And those tournaments are also like old school. Like yeah.
That's going to be a great
That'd be cool.
I got goosebumps.
great production.
Yep. And then last game of the week, you're probably not used to hearing these teams in the game of the week section, but this is a game of the week. These teams are red hot. They're playing great lacrosse, and if you haven't watched them yet, this is a great opportunity to do so. St. Joe's at Richmond, 4 o'clock on ESPN Plus Saturday. This is an A10 game. The 2 best teams in the A10 will be going at it. This very well likely could be the championship in a week or so here.
Very well. And I am so happy that we get to talk about an A10 game in the Lax.com Games of the Week. You would have this game circled at the beginning of the year, regardless, not knowing what the outcomes would be, what these 2 teams did. They've been powerhouses in both respective conferences, the SoCon and the NEC, and then in the A10 last year. And they are having unbelievable seasons, both undefeated in A10 play. This game, to me, is going to be decided with Richmond's defense against St. Joe's offense. Richmond has a really good offense, and they have Lance Madonna, Dalton Young. They can score a lot of goals. But I think Richmond has a top 5 defense. They have a top 5 goalie, and they have a top 20 cover man, in my opinion, as well.
Which is crazy.
Which is crazy.
You don't think of that when you think of Richmond.
And they're going to be going against St. Joe's, who is just a fun offensive team. I think they have some pretty big names. Levi Anderson, you'll be seeing in the PLL draft. He got drafted today by us. Matt Bomer,
right.
Torrent Eccleston, to name a few. I think that is where this game is going to be decided, is in the trenches on the Richmond defensive side of the field.
He wrote down better than the NFL draft. This game will be better than the Stanley Cup playoffs. You're excited for this one.
I'm so excited.
I am too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this will definitely be a good game. I don't know if it's better than the Stanley Cup playoffs, but probably the NFL draft, especially if you're a Patriots fan. But this is really, really a good game. The true meaning of mid-major. This is why you follow the A10 all year long. If you haven't watched these teams, both extremely talented. I think it's important to note that these teams both struggled early on. More specifically, St. Joe's. They kind of bounced back from a very shaky start. When we spoke to Levi early on, I think it was week 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that. St. Joe's was not in a good place. They had lost a couple straight. I think they were like 1-4 at some point. Obviously playing good teams like Duke and Penn and some of these
Towson.
Other top
Towson.
teams who have come a long way this year. But they've rattled off a ton of wins. They've bounced back, which shows their resilience and the type of team that they are. We knew it from the start that they were going to be a powerhouse this year. And now it's good to see them finally back in the top 20. They're extremely talented. They can beat anybody. I think St. Joe's or Richmond, whoever comes out of this conference, could definitely win a game in the NCAA tournament. Like, no doubt. They have the size. They have the skill. They have the guys. They have the Canadians. They have everything they need to beat some of these top 10 teams. So watch this game. It's going to be a great one. It's a great opportunity to see mid-major on the highest level.
And as a mid-major guy, you root for them every time they are in the tournament. It's like you want them to win. You can't help but root for them. And I think that the greater lacrosse world also agrees. Like, it would be cool to see one of those programs come out on top. So without further ado, our picks for week 12. We're going to start with Princeton at Yale. As always, Brett, kick us off.
I'm going to go Yale here.
I like Yale too. Give me
go
Brown
Yale.
in the tournament.
I'm going to go Yale too. I think it makes it really interesting with Brown. Well, Brown has beat Harvard first, but I think it's going to make things really interesting.
Coulter, I want you to know that I'm picking Princeton here. I'm picking Princeton.
Mike, Princeton made you a rich man last week.
I know.
Penn.
Family's fed.
It's a new
All right.
week.
Did I
Family's
stutter?
fed, Mike.
All right.
I love Princeton in this game. I'm taking the Tigers. Notre Dame at Virginia at 2 o'clock, ESPNU Saturday.
I think being in Virginia for this one, I think Nunes, his team's going to be on his back. I think he has a great performance. I'm going to go Virginia.
I agree. I don't think Virginia drops multiple games in a row. Give me Virginia.
Give me Notre Dame.
I like Virginia. I like Virginia to win this one. And St. Joe's at Richmond, 4 o'clock Saturday on ESPN Plus, 8-10 game of the year, potentially.
8-10 game of the year. Yeah. It's fair.
I'm going St. Joe's. Hawks all day.
Give me the original guest we ever had, Lance Madonna
First guess.
and Richmond.
First guest. He's the
And
First
the Richmond
guest.
Spiders.
And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to go with Richmond.
I like St. Joe's.
All right.
All
St.
right.
Joe's. It's a good split in these picks. I
Yeah.
feel like we've been a little lopsided, and I think there's a good variety here.
Yep.
Yeah.
See who comes out on top.
Yeah. Feel free to interact with us on social with the picks. I don't know who I'm talking to. Maybe 4 or 5 people. But
Who was that guy in our comments about
Yeah.
the Virginia disrespect?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
He was giving us some shit, and then Syracuse won, and we were giving it back, and it was, it's good fun. It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's
Love
all
it.
fun, man.
Take a look at
Good
it.
banter.
It is. It is.
Maybe it's a revival of the Lax forums,
Possible.
our comment section.
Old man Bartlax, if you're listening, drop a comment. Drop a comment and take a Ambien. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us once again. Please remember to like and follow the podcast wherever you listen to it and on social media. Need your help getting it out there, but we're fired up for another week of College Lacrosse. Hayden made a great point. We've covered officially every game of the regular season this year. We've
Not missed a single one.
not missed a single one. We've talked about it. Every game on the week is not bullshit. We've talked about every single game. We're very proud of that. So thank you guys for joining us in this journey.
Will Lynch.
Holden getting underneath. Maltz. Great catch by Bernhardt. Score!